truth.
Welcome to Drop Me Off in Nashville with Scotty and friends.
Oh my gosh, welcome to Drop Me Off in Nashville. What a treat that I have today. I'm so incredibly excited to have my guest with me. We're not going to talk about Nashville, you guys. We're going to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. It's been passionate on my mind for almost 4 years. And I don't know how God works, but I know he works in the best ways. And I'm very, very blessed to have my special guest on with us tonight. And I'm going to introduce him to you right after this. We'll be right back.
Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Ready. Let's do this. It's showtime. Please pay attention. Stop what you're doing and welcome our guest.
Hey, welcome back to Drop Me Off in Nashville. You're not going to believe who I have on the line with me. Will, introduce yourself, sir.
Oh, my name is William Causeway, and I'm a friend of Scott Hooger's.
How did we meet, Will?
So when we originally met, I remember that we met through a friend of ours that we share, John.
Yes. We call him Sebastian.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And we met through him. And it was really funny how the Lord works, right? I mean, I know you're very biblical, and I know you have a strong belief in the Lord, and I know that you believe that things happen for a reason. And this is the weird thing, you guys. Will and I, what have we been talking for 4 years now?
Like 4 or 5 years, something like that.
And we've never talked face to face. Like, you've never seen me eyeball to eyeball yet, and I've never seen you, right?
No, sir. We've never met in person.
But we're like the closest friends.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that weird?
Yes, I'm blessed to have you.
Nah, the feeling's mutual. That's for darn sure. So you guys, I started this movie project. And if anybody knows me from Hibbing High School, I used to get C's and D's in English and history. And I didn't care about that stuff. I cared about music, and I cared about hockey, and I cared about playing tennis and being with my friends. I didn't really concentrate on school. I wasn't very smart. But one day, it was a Saturday. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. I literally felt like God grabbed me by the back of the hair and pulled me out of bed, brought me into my office, and I started typing. And I typed and typed and typed and typed for hours. And what I was typing is about what happens when these children do what they do and they shoot schools up. And I thought to myself, I don't know how this can be. Politicians argue and fight about it, right, Will? You hear it on the news. The TV says all the things they have to say to make themselves feel better. But at the end of the day, nothing really changes, right, Will?
Well, I mean, I really don't want to speak too many words on that, because I don't know what causes an individual to make certain decisions. And then I'm not very big into politics. I don't know much about what makes them bring up what topics or what have you, and how they actually feel about it.
Doesn't it kind of sometimes feel like it's just for show? Like, some Democrats get mad about some things, Republicans get mad about some things, and they never come together. And at the end of the day, still there's innocent children who are dead.
Yeah, I feel like that's at times, not just on that topic, but about different topics that they put on the news. I think some of it is real, and then some of it I do believe is staged or possibly staged for whatever their reasons may be.
Right. So, when I was thinking about how I could put you on this show, because like I said, we're writing a movie together. You guys, we'll get into that in a minute, but Will and I are writing a movie together, and we've been on it for 4 years, and we continue to grow. We continue to banter back and forth about things. Will continues to teach me about different things about the movie that I don't understand, and I try to help him understand where I'm at. So us two people who've never met eyeball to eyeball, but been friends and been writing partners for over 4 to 5 years, it kind of goes along with Drop Me Off in Nashville, because just a couple weeks ago on one of the episodes I said, if you guys want to learn how to write music and you want to co-write, or you want to try to figure out how to do something in the music industry, you could do that through the internet. And Will and I are proof of that, right, Will? I mean, we've worked hand in hand now for a long time, very well together.
Yes, sir.
And so when I think about Drop Me Off in Nashville and I think about Will and I and how we're writing this movie together, it's the same concept with music. You can write with somebody over the internet. You don't have to see them eyeball to eyeball. You just have to trust each other. And when you find that, you don't screw it up, because no matter what, that's when magic works. That's how business works. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be full of feelings. It just has to matter to each of you. And there's a mutual respect where you know that you can help each other or play off each other or grow together as two people. Wouldn't you say that's a fair statement, Will?
Yeah, you're speaking a lot there, very much, very fast. And I'm just kind of reflecting on how we met and the way things took place. My thanks to John, first of all. John was the one that I knew, and for whatever reason, John had it in his heart that he wanted to even speak to me about it. But, everything worked out to where we all agreed to work together. And I don't know anything about making movies. You know this, Scott. This is an adventure that you guys invited me on. Kind of where I came in with it was that in the movie that you're writing and putting together here, that we're writing, you had this idea, and I kind of just have an experience in that lifestyle, that fit information that you needed.
Okay, but hang on. Let's talk about that for just a second, if you don't mind. We don't need to get too deep in it unless you're comfortable with it. But okay. we all go through things in our life, some good, some bad, some we don't understand. Parents did this, parents did that, parents divorced, parents stayed together. There's no perfect blueprint for families. And we all take a road, right? And sometimes our road, we make bad mistakes and do dumb things. Sometimes we try to make better decisions, but at the same time, we all still have our own path, no matter what that path was, right?
Yes.
So your path and my path are two different paths, but they're both our paths, and they made us who we are today and brought us together. And I think ultimately that's what's important, right?
It is, and as I listen to you as you're speaking, there's things that are flying through my mind, and you're talking about paths and who we are today. And, I'm just going to be very honest with you. I really don't know what to think about my life. I'm not happy. I understand that everything happens for a reason. At this point right now, today where I'm at, I don't understand why I made certain decisions that I did and why it was necessary for me to have experiences that I had. And with that said, there's a lot of things you made a statement in there about who we are today. I'm not completely happy with who I am today as I reflect on life.
Is it fair to say yet? Can you add the word yet?
Yet, yes, because we're growing every day, right? And the thing that I've learned, is that, and this is, I'm just going to use myself, speak on myself with this, that I've learned with myself as changes have been made in my mentality and where I find my heart, feeling about life, is that as we're growing, who we are yesterday is not necessarily who we are today. And I still don't know who I'm about to become for tomorrow.
You guys should understand why this guy works with me. Listen to what he just said. That's brilliant and that's beautiful. And that's exactly how you have to look at life, I think. Well, that's you. I keep telling you that you're an artist, and for some reason I just can't get that through to you yet, but I know one day that I will. Well, I want to ask you something that's really important to me, because I don't think I've ever asked you this. What made you say yes to continue to work with me? Because this is a long thing. I mean, this has been 4 years. I mean, it could go on another 4. Who knows? It could go on another year.
Your question is, what made me feel like, what made me decide to work with you?
Yeah, what made you say yes to do this? I mean, you could have said no. You could have bailed out long ago. You could still bail out if you wanted to. I mean, why did you say yes? I've never asked you that.
So in the beginning, when you guys brought this to me, I felt this was way out of my league. It's like I told you, I'm not Hollywood. But as we got to know each other, you guys kept, I could sense, along the way, you were just insisting that you, for some reason, whatever reason, you were insisting that you wanted me to be a part of this with you. But it wasn't even just that. It was as I spoke to you and you pitched me how this came about and what your goal was with it. When you came to me that you started speaking about, you know, the goal was not just about the movie, it's the message of the movie, and that we were reaching out to youth and getting in hopes of even just saving one, with the goal of troubled youth, you know.
We did our job, right, Will?
Steer them away from experiences that I've had to experience.
So hang on right there for a second. Hang on right there. When you say that, can you imagine an 18-year-old having to go through with some of the things that you did now that you're older and more wisdom and have lived some life through what you did? Can you imagine what's going to happen to an 18-year-old once he gets to prison?
You know, I kind of just had a little run-in with that not that long ago. And you know about this, and I don't want to say too much about it here on air, but, you know, I'll just say it for what it is. So recently I was incarcerated in Corpus Christi, Texas. And you're saying about speaking to a youth, you know, when you're in the system, there's a lot of youth in there. There's a lot of guys that are 17, 18, 19 years old, 20, 21. And
Will, when you see him, don't you just want to go, oh, come on, man?
And you know what? And that's where I found myself. I forgot his name, but there was this little guy. He was only like 18 years old. And we were locked up in Corpus Christi, Texas. And he was a real cool dude, man. I could see he was a real cool dude, but I could tell that if you rubbed him the wrong way, that you would see a different side of him. And but he was very respectful. When I would talk with him, we would have really good conversation. And I could see that he was genuinely a good person, but he grew up in the streets. And I don't know what took place, but he found himself in a situation of which he shot somebody. And I can't remember what type of time he was looking that he was facing, but I know that.
Did he kill him?
I don't. What's that?
Did he kill him?
Nah, he didn't kill him.
Thank God.
But he was looking like he had a heavy case on his hands. He's likely gonna do some time.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember all the details because since the moment from when I met him, I sat down, you know, for a few months and my little journey went on with the incarceration system, and you know, I kind of lose touch with the details. I remember him, but I lose touch with the details.
Yeah, but
you know?
when you walk up to him, the innocence of his body, who he is, his mentality, his wisdom, he has really no clue what's in store for him, right?
You know, as we were talking, I could see, like I told you, like if it became necessary, you were gonna see a different side of him.
Yeah.
But when you get speaking with him, he has a good heart to him too. So like I'm looking at him and we fell into conversation, and I really hope that, you know, I think he got a taste of the incarceration system just being in the county, and he got a little glimpse of what it is. And I guess, you know, and a lot of us do get that, you know, we find ourselves in that situation, and when we're in there, not everybody, some people, they're good with it. But like even me, for instance, and he was the same way. That's not really what we want for our life, right?
Right.
But the fact,
it's green grass, it's the sky, it's getting a chocolate shake at McDonald's. It's all those things that you no longer
you start reflecting on little things like that. But the issue is that when we're in that situation, when we find ourselves there in that place, you know, a lot of us, we realize we really don't want this for our life, but we come from a certain lifestyle that we don't know how to break away from. And in that moment that we're incarcerated, we're like, damn, like this sucks. Like, nah, I really don't want to do this. Like, you know, type of thing. Not everybody has that mentality. Some people are just like, fuck it. They're all the way gangster with it, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing with it is, even for those of us that we realize that we really don't want this for ourselves, when we get back to the streets, we get back to the environment, we get back to friends that we do love and care about, but we're not following a righteous lifestyle. We're selling drugs. We're doing drugs. We're playing with guns, you know, playing gangster, and shit happens.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have to just, when it happens, you know, now you're in a situation of which you have no choice but to go with whatever comes out of it. Like, there's no more turning back.
Yeah.
There's no more turning back. Once they put the handcuffs on you, it's done.
Hey, we'll be right back after this.
3.
Your guitar isn't just an instrument, it's your voice, your soul, your weapon. So don't let it dull out. Bring it to life with Doc Simon's Miracle Guitar Polish, the premium 4-ounce organic formula that restores, protects, and ignites your finish with a stage-ready shine. Safe for every guitar finish and fine wooden instrument. Zero junk, all tone. Whether you're shredding solos or strumming stories, this polish delivers pro-level results every time. Make your guitar look as good as it sounds. Doc Simon's Miracle Guitar Polish. Your secret weapon for shine, tone, and total respect. Get yours now at SlamoCustomGuitars.com. That's SLAMO CustomGuitars.com.
Hey, welcome back to Drop Me Off in Nashville. Can you believe it? This has been my dream interview. I think we're 30 interviews into this Drop Me Off in Nashville program, and having Will on me with today is great. Will, I kind of surprised this interview on you tonight, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I wasn't expecting it. I was just expecting a conversation with you.
Well, that's always fun because we usually talk for about an hour and then we go through some different things, especially if I got time or you got time. But tonight, I hate it when you schedule it or try to say, let's plan it, because people usually are nervous or they start second guessing or all those different things. But when it's just organic and it's just two friends talking, it seems to come off much easier. I want to tell you, I got to say thank you for signing on with me to do this movie. I mean it. I couldn't do what I do without you, Will. And I know it's hard for you to understand or believe, but I keep telling you, and I've told you that for 4 years straight, I believe in you, and I'm grateful that you're with me on this project. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you likewise. For me, it was just, I heard an interview. I was listening to an interview that you had with, I'm not going to say her name, but Amber Marie. I was listening to an interview that you did with her.
Yeah,
and one thing that I loved about your interview with her was that she gave nothing but thanks to the Lord. Like, she said it so many times, thanks to the Lord. It's all about God. God makes it happen. He directs the steps. And you know what? I was listening to that, and I just I really enjoyed that so much, because I feel the same way. Like, in this situation, especially with what I'm doing with you guys, this wasn't my doing. Like, to me, that's the only way that I can explain it. This was the Lord's doing, because you could have picked so many other people to work with. There's so many people that have done so much time and had so many ugly situations take place and have even so much more experience in that type of lifestyle than what I do.
Yeah, but they're not you. But they're not you, Will. That's what I don't think you understand. There's something very special about you, and I see that, and I've told you that multiple times, and I'll say it again. You've earned your way into this project. I can't be happier that you're involved in this project, and I hope to God that we get a home for this thing, because it deserves it for both of us.
Hey, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Hey, you've been through some stuff in life, right? I mean, I haven't even smoked a cigarette. I've never been arrested, never been to jail, never. My dad used to say as a kid, if you get arrested or you get picked up by the cops, you're safer there, so you better stay there. And I knew what he meant by that.
Yeah.
He took it to heart.
Yeah.
He scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Not like my dad was gonna beat me or anything like that, but I know what he meant. You know what I mean? It wasn't a place that I needed to be, nor did I belong, and I didn't need to get myself in that kind of trouble. Use your head, and don't do dumb things like kids do. And let me tell you, I did plenty of dumb things that kids do.
Oh, I bet. I think we all have.
I think we all have, and some of us get caught up of it, and some of us get arrested, and some of us don't, and some of us get in more trouble, and some of us don't. When you think about co-writing this movie, and you would call me, and I would write something about, we'll just call it Act 2, when our person's in jail. Mm-hmm. And I completely write something so god off the wall that you almost laugh at me and go, Scott, that's just not how it works. How do you know how to navigate that with me to go, all right, I got to talk with Scott because we got to fix this?
Well, one thing I'm going to say before we get into that is that as I've read the screenwrite, For somebody that's never done time, you're doing a very great job with it. Like, not even just the penitentiary scenes. You're doing a great job with it, just creating the story in general, to come up with that out of your head, like out of your heart, like just to envision that. That is something that I could have never done. And the only part that I'm helping is with my personal experience, of living that life. Now, when it comes to me telling you those things, it's not that you're not doing a good job. And some things, because you're a very kind-hearted person. So there's just parts where I can see, like, okay, this is not being written with knowledge. This is being written with Scott's excitement and his beautiful heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just, and maybe it's wrong for me to tell you that that's not the way it would go, because here's the thing about.
That's exactly what you should do.
No, because here's the thing that I've learned in doing time. Everybody's different. And especially like in different regions that you go to, like doing time in Texas was different from doing time in Michigan. And then doing time in Michigan and Texas, I've been in the county a few times here in Minnesota, and the way that they politic, and like, it's not the same everywhere. And even whenever you're in a state, like, everybody's got their own personalities, everybody's got their own mentality, and you really don't know who's capable of what. Like, people try to generalize or try to like size somebody up and get a read on them, and they try to assume what they believe they're capable of or what they're not capable of. But at the end of the day, you really don't know until situations take place and happen, that you find out. Sometimes you do things in a situation that you didn't even know you were capable of.
So let me ask you this. You kind of know the movie, right? I mean, I sent you a narrated view from our main character's point of view that you're going to be able to listen to now, and I asked you to take notes on it to kind of help me. And I told you that I sent this to some Hollywood executives, and they came back at an 8 out of a 10. So
nice.
We're not 9 out of a 10. We're not 10 out of a 10. We're close, right?
8 still sounds good.
Yet. Yeah, well, yeah, and that was a big. Again, you're talking to a guy with C's and D's in English class, so
exactly.
And I've never been to jail. But our Act 1 and our Act 3 is solid, they said. And our Act 2, which is the prison part, needs work. And that's where I'm so grateful to have you, because we have to clean some stuff up, and we'll do that. And if it takes another year or two, I don't care if it takes 3, 4 more years, because, Will, if we do this right, we really have the possibility to get the children that nobody's ever had before, right?
Yes, sir. And that's really what it's about. That's really what it's about.
It's really what's it about. It's not about the money. It's not about the glam. It's not about anything. It has to do with, if we could do this for children and they could see it, this isn't Scared Straight. This isn't, I'm 17, I'm going to get away with it. All that bullshit that you hear on TV, it's none of that. We're really talking to the kids on their level. This is what's going to happen. This is how this goes down. And I don't know. I remember I don't mean to be so jumpy around with you, but I'm so excited to have you on.
I really don't have all the words for it. There's days that are good. There's days that are bad. Every situation happens. They're all, how do you say, I don't know if the word is unique or what it is that I'm looking here for, but what happens in one situation is not necessarily the way it's going to play out in another. If that makes sense.
Yeah, completely. Everything, everywhere, and everything is different all the time.
And I really don't know what more to say to it than that, because that's just my view of it.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing about being in jail or prison? The very hardest thing. Wait, what keeps you up at night?
Well, as I reflect on it, there's so many different, it all depends. Once again, that goes per individual. It depends on how strong you are mentally and spiritually, sure. and everybody's different. Once again, some people are softer than others. For me, thanks to the Lord, did I ever find myself in situations where it was going to get dangerous? Yes, I did. Did I have my run-ins with it? I did, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen as ruthlessly for me as it did for others that I saw. You know what I'm saying? Like I came out good. I came out good from it considering what it could have been.
Yeah.
You know? And so for me, I don't know, man. Like I would lay back in them cell bunks or, you know, look at the ceiling. I would do a lot of self-reflecting, you know, looking at my life and just, I don't know, man. I find myself just asking myself, like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? Like, what is my life? Like, I knew that I didn't want that for myself. You know, there's a lot of people that are never coming home or they're doing a lot of years. Did I do some? Yeah, my brother. My brother's one of them.
I was so sorry when you told me that story, and it just didn't. It doesn't add up why he got what he got. Honestly.
Well, we'll have that conversation privately.
Yeah.
But I know why.
That's a strong word. That's your brother, you know?
Yeah. You know, and I'm going to tell you like this. You know, like I thought about him a lot too. Like here recently while I was sitting down in this little county bit, you know, he's doing 50 years. He just got done doing basically 18 years. He's 35 years old. He came out, you know, I hate to say it. He's a good person. When you know him, he's a good person, but he does have a very strong institutionalized mentality. So
when they say that in Shawshank Redemption, you ever see that movie, Shawshank Redemption?
Yes, I've seen it.
When they say institutionalized, that's really a thing, Will?
In different ways, to say like people are institutionalized, like the way one person might be institutionalized may not be the way another person is institutionalized.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, some people are they're hardened gangsters, they're hardened criminals, and when they're institutionalized, you know, they stay ready to kill, they stay ready to fight, they stay ready to die. Yeah. They stay ready with that mentality.
Okay.
Not everybody doing time in prison is, how do I say, like, they don't all have that type of aggression. You know, not everybody in prison. You know, you have a lot of ruthless individuals, you know, but life has made them that way for however it took place for them. But just like you got a lot of ruthless individuals, you got a lot of soft ass dudes too.
Sure.
You know, they might not carry themselves like they're soft. They might carry themselves like to play the part as though like they're down to do whatever they need to do. And I say it like that because you see when you're in prison. You see it. You see the guys that are down to be soldiers. You know, they put themselves out there on the lines when it comes time for whatever the reason was, and they kill somebody, beat somebody, or they might even get hurt or dead themselves, you know?
But that's okay.
But then you see they accept it.
Yeah.
They accept it, and they accept it to the fullest.
So the word okay probably isn't the right word to say, but accepting it is a better word to use.
They accept it. They know that this is their life, and they're fucking living it till the day that they die. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you already have 5 or 2 or 3 life sentences, what the hell's another one, right? That's kind of the thought. Or am I saying
once again, you know, and it's funny how you bring that up because when I was like in this run, once again, that's per individual. Like everybody gets this idea that just because somebody's in for murder, that they're this ruthless, cold-hearted killer. Like, yeah, they may have done something. Like some of them are. Like I've met different. Like when I was like even right now when I was doing my time, there was a lot of dudes that were down for murder. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like these dudes, but they were different from each other. Like some of them did murder. I don't know what the story was, what caused them, like what the circumstances were. But I could tell that, okay, you did what you did, but he's not really like this. This is not him all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? Like
almost was a mistake. Like he wishes he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, something just took place, and that's the way. You know, I had a situation take place, and we can touch on that a little bit, but that's the way I relate to it. And once again, for me being in the county, the situation I was in, I found myself in a situation of that. You know, I don't know. I think I'm talking too fast here, but
you're good.
What I'm getting at is, you know, you can have somebody on murder, but he could be a soft ass dude. He just, whatever happened that night in that situation, that doesn't mean that just because you're down for murder doesn't mean that they're going to make it in the penitentiary system.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But then you have another individual that he's a killer, and he's a killer for real. He's going to be a killer in the streets, and he's going to be a killer in the system. You know, if he has to be.
You can like see that, the difference, right? Like you're explaining, you can see that, you can feel that, you can tell that.
I guess. So once again, that goes back to you never know who is capable of what.
Yeah.
So like when you say you can see that, the way that I can relate to that is when I get talking to them, you can tell by the way they carry, not just by the way they carry themselves, that you have to be able to read somebody's spirit. And some are harder than others.
I remember one time you told me, you said, sometimes no words, you have to read what the person, like somebody comes into your cell and they look at you a certain way without saying a word. You have to know what that means, right? And not, they're telling you with their eyes or with their movements or with their body. They don't have to open their mouth. And that's just something that you learn over time, correct?
Yes. And it's not always that easy. For me, in my experience, and it's been a while, since I've really found myself there. When I would share that with you, when you're in that setting, you want to do your best to pay attention all day, every day. You don't want to be in anybody's business, but you want to be aware of your surrounding. Like you want to, as you're in there and you get to know certain individuals, like you get an idea of what their personality and their behaviors are like, how they carry themselves, the way that they speak, if they're outgoing, if they're more shut down, and especially with outgoing people that normally they do talk, and I mean, there's so much to really try to cover in that, to try to understand. It's really hard to explain it. It's like something that you really don't understand unless you experience it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Makes sense.
But like, one thing that I would say, like for myself to make it easy on that, when I was doing time, like a normal day has a normal vibe to it. People are hitting the weights. They're, walking.
You're going to eat, you're going to shower, you do your routine, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. And there's activity. People are just, because it's prison life, right? Yeah. Like you're just, there's a vibe to it. Like there's basically like an all day, every day routine to the day for the most part. So like when I would notice out of nowhere in a moment that the whole fucking prison yard's just getting quiet and everybody's looking around, that's when I knew somebody was fixing to get it.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is, and I learned this,
feel it, right?
Yes, because what it is that this is an unusual behavior that's taking place all across the prison yard. So it's very obvious.
So Will, the guards know, right? But sometimes they turn their cheek, right? I mean, without saying, without saying, do you know what I mean? Right? They know, but they don't know.
I think kind of what they do is, I can't really say because I'm not a guard and I don't know what their training is, but I think
right. But your experience has kind of told you that they turn their cheek.
Not all of them. They're people like anybody else.
Yeah.
Some of them, I don't know, like they're all different. Like some of them, they're going to do their job, but at the same time, some of them don't give a fuck, know? Like some of them like to see the action.
Sure. Breaks up the monotony of the day.
And some of them, they're people like anybody else. And like some of them, they're there to do their job. Like they're going to do their job. You know what I mean?
So when we started this movie, there was, we're writing this script and we go, well, we'll get this done in a year. But then there's this thing called the business side of it. And that's the hard part of this movie industry, right? It's like you can write the great script, you can have the best stories, you can give the best experience, and then us as co-writers, we write it, we put it on paper. But then there's this business side of it that none of us really understand. And that's, don't you think, like right now, that is our hardest thing that we're navigating through, is the business part of it?
Well, I know what you tell me. and I say that because I don't know everything that's taking place behind the curtains of what you're doing and who you're speaking to and what you're trying to make happen. I know what you share with me because once again, in this project, am I helping you write the movie? I am, but I'm helping you write it in my knowledge and experience. I don't know the truth is that I don't know the business side of it. So I don't know what you deal with.
You know, but what's good for me though, is to have a co-writer, because I'm the type of guy that if I'm running a business, I think about how can I help the person that's with me? And I don't want to let that person down in any way. So for me, it's a huge motivator to have a co-writer or a partner, because then I feel like it's almost better, because like if I said tomorrow, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this movie anymore. I can't take it anymore. It's been 4 years, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting nowhere. I would feel like I let you down. And so it's a motivator to me to have a partner. You know what I mean? So the business part of it, I'm not worried about, because that'll come and I know enough people that'll help us. But for us to get an 8 out of a 10 on our first go around, man, we can get that to a 9 or 10 for sure. Then we really have something. And then we let it do what it's supposed to do, but we just have a little bit of work to do. So listen, you guys, I want to talk to Will off the air. So I'm going to go to a commercial break. And he went through some trauma in his past, and I'm going to ask him privately if he's okay to talk about that. And if he says yes, we'll get into that. We'll be right back after this.
Southern rock isn't just music, it's a way of life. And this January, it comes rocking into Drop Me Off in Nashville with one of its true legends in Southern rock. Scotty will sit down with his friend Mike Estes, former guitarist for Lynyrd Skynyrd and Blackfoot, and founding member of the worldwide touring Southern rock group Skinny Molly, a band that has been selling out stages across America and Europe for nearly 2 decades. We're getting into the grit, the grind, the riffs, the miles, and the stories only a lifetime on the road can produce. How Lynyrd Skynyrd shaped him, how Skinny Molly was built from the ground up, how worldwide tours, long nights, and real musicianship carved out a legacy that's still growing. If you want the truth behind Southern rock from a man who lived every mile of it, this is the episode for you, and you don't want to miss it. Mike Estes, founding member of Skinny Molly. One incredible conversation. January 2026, only on Drop Me Off in Nashville.
That's right, y'all.
Howdy! I was glad you here, though. There's these fellas running all over Nashville causing a ruckus. I think their names is Scott and his hooligan friends. They're kind of cute, though.
Hey, welcome back to Drop Me Off in Nashville. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know it's not about the music career. It's about movies and partnerships and writing and working over the internet and trusting each other's beliefs, trusting each other's creativity. All those things that matter in the music industry, in the movie industry, in the TV industry, whatever you're doing in your life, in your personal business, in your partnership, building houses, whatever it is, you have to have that bond. And again, I'm so grateful that Will came on with me tonight and is sharing some of his story. And off air, I asked him privately if he wouldn't mind showing or explaining to you guys something that happened to him in his past life that scared him to his core. He woke up and didn't know if he was in a coffin, if he was in a hospital. He didn't know if he was in a dream. He didn't know really what happened to him. And I wanted to make sure that this sensitive topic that we're going to talk about was okay with Will, number one, because it's important to me that he's all right. And number two, that when he shares it, that when you guys do see the movie that we do put out, and you'll know when it does, because Will and I will come on again and tell you about all the movie and everything. But the children out there who listen to this, or the kids who out there who hear this story, will go, man, I'm not sure if that's something that I want, because this great guy, Will, who's my partner in this movie, has a great opportunity in his life just like I do, to get this movie out to where we want to do and what we want to do with it and where we want to get it to. But he's also willing to share some very personal, intimate things that happened to his life. Will, do you want to kind of just give a quick synopsis of what happened and when you woke up in that hospital bed and what was going through your mind?
So it was a really weird situation. And I'm just going to say before we get into it, the reason that I'm sharing this story is because we're reaching out to the kids, and I just want this to be something for, maybe the right kid out there that's going through whatever issues he's going through hears what we're discussing, and maybe it touches him some type of way that it causes him to reflect that that's not the road I want to go down. I don't want to experience those things, and that's why I'm doing this.
Amen.
Now, that situation that you're talking about, it was very different. I woke up in the hospital.
I had no idea how you got there, right?
No, I didn't know. I woke up in the hospital. Okay, so it was really weird because I didn't necessarily wake up. I thought I didn't know what was going on. I woke up, like I was coming in and out of it, and I seen nurses around me. I seen I was in a bed, but I thought I was dreaming. And I didn't like the dream. Like you ever have a dream and then you're not liking what you're seeing, so you like try to wake yourself up and get out of the dream, or you're not enjoying that too much. So I'm waking up, but I thought that I was in a dream, to tell you the truth. And the reason I thought I was in a dream was because
like a nightmare, right?
I was so beat to shit. Well, it wasn't even like
your body or your mind. What do you mean by that?
I was beat to shit. Like they literally beat the shit out of me. To make it for you to understand what I'm telling you, like I was in a fight. They beat me really good. And I'm not mad at them about it. They got me good. So by the time I woke up, apparently I had already been in the hospital like 3 or 4 days. Oh I didn't even know that until time went by, that I'm having conversations while I'm locked up, and they're telling me like I'm having conversations with my family that they're explaining to me what they know of that took place. And so I wake up, I guess at the time that I wake up, it had already been like 3 or 4 days. So I was unconscious for like 3-4 days.
In the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I'm waking up,
when you woke up, you told me there was something really weird that you never felt before on your body. What was that?
Well, no, I was just all busted up. My eye was closed shut. My face was broken. My skull was broken.
You had a dog chain on your leg?
Yeah, well, I didn't know. Like, I'm waking up and I'm just realizing I can't see out of one eye.
Oh my God.
And I look down, I'm looking, I see I'm in a hospital. But when I actually woke up, that I realized I was in the hospital and not dreaming. I'm realizing my eyes shut. I can tell. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know I was in a fight. I'm just understanding at this point, like, oh, this is reality. And I look down at myself. I see people around me. I see the nurses. I see the beep machines, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Checking on your pulse or whatever.
Yeah.
And I look down at my arm and I see wires and needles hooked up into my veins. And I'm like, what the hell? And I go to move to adjust myself because I guess apparently I had been in that position who knows how long. So I go to adjust myself and I'm trying to be careful because I got needles in my arms. And when I go to move my legs, I feel something like tug. And I'm like, what the hell? So I picked they had a blanket on me. And I took the blanket off and they had me like in a hospital gown. And I see my knees all busted open. And I look down at my feet and there's a dog chain hooked up from ankle to ankle. And an officer comes and grabs me by the ankles and like jerks my legs. And I guess that was just his way of letting me know that I was in custody. And I didn't really paint, like I'm looking at it and I'm like just kind of like absorbing what's taking place. And there was 2 officers. There was that male officer that grabbed my legs. And then I have a female officer that starts calling my name. She's like, Will. And I look up at her. And I just shook my head at her. And she just started like talking to me and asking me questions. And at the end of it, I'm thinking at the moment, to tell you the truth, I had no memory of the incident. No memory at all. Even to this moment, I don't. I just know what's been told to me and the fact that I was locked up. But she starts asking me questions, and long story short, at the end of it, she tells me that I was incarcerated, that I'm under arrest. She starts asking me if I knew an individual. And I didn't know, like, I thought, honestly, to tell you the truth, well, I started freaking out just before she got into the details. I started calling for my mom. I thought I was in a car accident. I thought maybe, because I knew I was drinking. The last I remember, I remember saying good night to my mother. And I remember that I had some drinks that night. But I remember nothing at all after saying good night to my mother. So now I'm waking up in the hospital under arrest, and they haven't told me for what yet. And it just snapped in my mind, like, what the fuck am I in here for?
Yeah.
Like, and I start calling for my mom because
you're scared.
I'm thinking, what I'm thinking is that I'm thinking that my dumb ass got behind the wheel and wrecked the vehicle, but I don't know whose vehicle. And I don't know if my mom was with me. So I'm thinking, fuck, man, my mom might be dead.
Yeah.
And then the officer's like, Will, chill out. She's like, your mom's fine. She's like, your mom's fine. I talked to her. She's at your house. This, and that. And I'm like, so then I calm down. I'm like, and I'm telling her, like, are you sure? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck I'm thinking to myself, like, well, what the fuck is going on? And then she gets into that. She's like, do you know so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you mad at him? I'm like, nah. She's like, I said, nah, we're friends. Long story short, we got into a fight. All right, a bad fight. Apparently, they're telling me a bad fight happened. I get the shit beat out of me, bones broken, what have you. But apparently, somewhere in that fight, I don't know where this knife came from because I don't even carry a knife. And I hate to say it, but I'm glad that the knife was there, because I think that's what kept me alive for that situation. There was a knife there somehow. I don't know what kind of knife. I just know that apparently I got a hold of a knife and I stabbed this individual several times. And I'm not proud of that. I'm glad the dude lived. And I'm glad he lived. He's not a bad person. I don't know what caused this situation to take place, but it happened. I'm glad he's alive. And I'm not just glad that he's alive because I avoided a murder bit. I'm glad he's alive because he's really not a bad person. Shit happens.
Substantially made bad decisions, both of you, that night.
Yes.
Your egos got to you, or whatever the case may be, and here we are. I mean, Scott, you were looking at life in prison, right?
So when they first arrested me, they arrested me on a 2nd-degree aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And my guidelines on that were minimum of 2, maximum of 20. So then, I don't know, a couple months go by. And in Texas, they do what they call indictments. Not all states call them indictments. In other states, you only get indictments if it's a federal case. But in Texas, you get, they indict you.
You're out type of thing.
Well, no, it's just when they serve you your paperwork for your charges, it's under an indictment.
Yeah.
But yes, Texas is that way too. So like I said, it was 2 to 20. I'm in the county. I'm meeting individuals, doing my time or what have you. And a couple months go by and they serve me my indictment papers. Well, the prosecutor, due to the fact that I have a criminal history, they classified me as what they call me. Well, not just me, but call people, period, when you have, other cases on your background. They classified me as what they call a repeat offender.
Mm-hmm.
And when they served me my indictment papers, they enhanced it. Well, it was on the paperwork, repeat offender. They enhanced my case from a 2nd degree to a 1st degree. So where they enhanced it, it changed my guidelines. My max was no longer
20.
It was no longer 20. It was now 99/life.
Oh, jeez Louise. That's a lot.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, when I read that, well, that's what they did to my little brother. They hit him for the 99 years.
Right.
They hit him for the 99 years. And then on his appeal, he's doing 50 now. So when I seen that enhancement, I said, well, they're going to do my ass just like they did Alan. I thought that was it for me, Scott. You know, I had to mentally like place it in my thoughts, what I was looking at, what I did, what I was being told I did at least.
Did you realize something from me on this? I don't mean to take this off you, but do you know if this is the first time I didn't put money on your books?
Yeah. Oh,
You know why?
yeah.
Can I tell you why?
Go ahead.
The only reason why, and it killed me, Will, is because, and I didn't know any of this was going on, what was going on with you or what happened and nothing. I just thought that you were finishing up what you had to. And for something in my mind, it said to me, this time, let him finish. He'll come out and we'll get back to work. I don't want to talk about the movie. I don't want to get him excited. I don't want to tell him what's been going on. I don't want to tell him I've submitted to execs. I don't want to do any of that. I just want Will to get better and get out. I can understand. I didn't know all of this other stuff happened to you. So I'm sorry. I didn't know.
No. That's fine. You know, I'll just share with you where
I just hope I didn't hurt your feelings because honestly, I just thought this time I'm just going to let him do his thing. And when he gets out, he'll be done. Everything will be behind him. It's over with. We can move forward.
So I can understand why you were under that assumption. And I'll just say it for what it is, while we're recording. It's fine. So prior to the incident, I already had a nationwide warrant, which Scott and I had already discussed that I was going to take care of.
But Will, honestly, I kind of agreed with you. It was something kind of dumb in Minnesota. Your mom is really sick and you wanted to be with her in case she passed away. So you left Minnesota to go to Texas to be with your mom. If she did die, you took that gamble. That's it in a nutshell, audience. So he's not going to get any deeper than that, but that's really what it boiled down to. He was in Minnesota for something weird. His mom is really, really, really sick. And he's like, I'm not going to be in prison and my mom passes away and I can't go to the funeral. I'm not doing that. So he went to be with her. So in a nutshell, Will, let's just leave it at that.
Well, where I was going with it is that, so we knew I had the warrant. And then it just so happened that the incident took place in Texas. And you knew nothing about it.
Right.
And that's how I found myself under arrest.
Yeah. But now you're done with that. You're done with Minnesota. You have a little bit of probation to final up on. You said to me you're going to go back in treatment for you, not because some judge told you to, which is all fantastic, right?
Yeah. There's just so many things that are going through my mind and, just in life in general. I'm going to be honest. There is a court order on it, but at the same time, I feel it's best for me.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, there is a court order. Not necessarily we'll speak about it later, but
okay.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not fighting against it.
I'm glad you're doing it, Will.
Okay.
I am.
Thank you.
I honestly am. I think you're there. I think this last one, you got it now. You don't, right? You could have been till you're 80, 90 years old. You could have been.
I'm going to say it like this. It's not even just because of the prison time. Like, it's not even just because of that situation in itself. I mean, that situation, is a part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say it like this. When I first got locked up, I'm 41 now. I just turned 41 a couple of days ago.
Happy birthday. I didn't know that. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Well, John and I share a birthday.
Ah, that's awesome. Happy birthday.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting on life, and I'll just say, and once again, this is for the kids. It's not because I want my story out there. I don't care about my story being out there. You know, my name is known where it needs to be known since I started doing the things that I started doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you like this. I don't say that proudly because as of today, it got me nowhere. You know, I'm just going to say that. But what I mean by that is what I'm going to share with you guys. Yes, I'm going to treatment because, well, I'll just say it on the air. It is what it is. Throughout time, I've had my troubles with alcoholism. That has got me into a lot of trouble. I have also had my battles with drug addiction. And so I'll just say it. I'm an addict. I'm a recovering addict, but I'm an addict. And this is why I'm going to treatment because, you know, I reflect on life. And it started off young. You know, I'll just say it like this, because there's going to be kids possibly that are listening to this that are already in the lifestyle, and it might give them something to think about, you know?
Yeah. Hey, Will,
I started off.
Will, let me interrupt you for one thing. I want to say something. I want to jump in on this.
Okay.
Will, when I was 15, this girl that I had the biggest crush on when I was a little kid, she graduated from high school and she had a graduation party. And I went there and I drank beer out of the keg at 15. Then I went to the county fair and I ran into my father. And that was the first time I ever got drunk.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because I too got involved with alcohol in a way that I shouldn't have. And I didn't know how to control it. I made a bunch of bad, dumb decisions that just hurt people and just did dumb things. So like when we're talking to these kids right now out there, listen to us. You know, Will's telling you his story. He got hooked up on it and he did his time in prison. And I never been to jail or prison or been arrested. And I got hooked up in alcohol, and it will do a lot of bad things to you. There, one night in St. Paul, Minnesota, I drank blackberry brandy and I woke up the next day and my whole entire bed was full of throw up. I probably should have died that night.
Yeah.
And I didn't learn there. About 20 years ago, I was running a bar and I started drinking Captain Morgan Cokes, and I tried walking home and I ended up laying in the middle of the woods on my back with my arms spread out. And I woke up in the middle of the next morning with bugs and flies and mosquitoes all over my body. I had no idea how I got there. And then I started to realize that it was a big problem. So when Will is sharing this story from you, it can happen to anybody. There's no label.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
It can be, you could be an executive, you could be a mother, you could be a father, you could be a 15-year-old kid who had a crush on some girl and thought he knew how to drink, and then the rest of his life was hooked on the dumb stuff. So when Will is telling you what he's telling you now, this stuff can happen to anybody. So just watch that alcohol and drugs, because it's easy to get hooked on, right, Will?
Yes. You know, and then, you know, oh man.
You lose friendships, you lose everything because of it. It's bad stuff.
I know that I have. It's cost me a lot. And like, as we're speaking right now, you know, I'm just going to say it for what it is. Most, if not all, my incarceration and my trouble with the law has been directly stemmed off of alcohol and drugs. I'll just say it like that. I don't think there's ever been an arrest that I had of which I was sober.
Wow. Hey, you guys, we'll be right back after this.
Hey, listen! Hey, don't go nowhere. We got more coming at you.
That's right, y'all.
Hey, I'm Scott Collier, and you're listening to Drop Me Off in Nashville, podcasts with Scotty and friends. Check us out.
Hey, welcome back to Drop Me Off in Nashville. What a show, right, Will? What a show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm enjoying it.
If you could sit down with any kid who's just started the path that you started on when you were a young folk, and the wisdom and the life that you live now up till 41, if you could go back to Will at 15 years old, at 41 years old, and say, hey, listen, Will, I'm you at 41. I need to tell you some things. What would you say to Will?
I can only say this for myself, because another individual that has had the similar or the same experience, you know, they may not feel the same way I do about it. And I understand that and I respect that, because we're not all the same, right? But for me, myself, I'm going to tell you something, Scott, and that goes back to the alcohol and drugs. You know, I started selling drugs very young. I was a teenager. I started selling drugs when I was maybe, 12, 13. Started off with pot, moved into cocaine, then pushed into crack. And it didn't last very long. I got busted when I was 17. A shooting took place. And the person that I didn't do the shooting, the person that did the shooting, I loved very much, and I didn't want to watch them go to prison. So I took the gun from them and I told them to leave, and I got busted with, I took the charges, you know. So I ended up, that was my entry to the incarceration system. But I'm kind of losing myself.
You could sit down with that boy at 41 years old. What would you say to him in one sentence?
If I could go back in time, like if I, you know, I'm wording it differently than you are. But if I could, I'm going to say, like, if I could go back in time, not even maybe look myself directly in the eyes, because at that age, I probably wouldn't have listened to me, even if I knew it was me. So I'd say, like, if I could go back to that age with the knowledge and intelligence of the life that I've lived and experienced, me personally, would I change it and would I do it differently? Yes, I would. And the reason that I would is because, you know, I started off selling drugs, got incarcerated. When I got out of the penal system is when I actually fell into drugs. So I went from selling drugs to now doing drugs, you know. And you made a statement, you know, that you hurt a lot of people. You lost a lot of relationships. That's what I got out of it, Scott. You know, I've lost everything. I've lost people I love, whether it be that they died. You know, not everybody died by a gun. Some people overdosed. A lot of people overdosed. You know, they're gone. Some people, you know, we fell into arguments or what have you. There was betrayal that took place at time, whether they feel I betrayed them or I know that they betrayed me. I got nothing but misery.
Things just happened, right?
Yes, things just happen. In that lifestyle, you're dancing with the devil. Like, you're really, that's the devil's playground. You're dancing with the devil. That is the devil's land. That is the devil's territory.
And there's no good way out of it.
No, you know, it starts off.
Jail or a box, right?
It all starts off.
That's where you're going, jail or a box.
Yes, eventually, you know, and even if you're alive, you know, like you said, you were talking about a 15-year-old girl that you knew. There's women that I saw even growing up, but then there's even women that I knew when I was young, that we were in the same age group or what have you, that even young, they'd get hooked on dope. They'd start prostituting. And I'm talking about, we're like 15 years old at the time and they're prostituting because they got hooked on crack.
Ah, Jesus.
You know, back home in Texas. And it even saddened me at that time when I was like, damn, really? She's doing that? You know, and then even so now to this day, there's people that I know that when they were young, and it's not even because they were young, because it could be the same today, they were very beautiful women. And it doesn't matter if you were like if somebody finds you to be very beautiful or not, but I'm just saying, like, the ones that I knew, they were very attractive, you know.
Their life was falling apart in front of them, and there's nothing that they could see or understand what was happening to them, right?
Well, even if they're alive today, you know, I don't know what their reasons were for what caused them to fall into that addiction or that lifestyle. But what I'm getting at is some of them are still alive. Some of them are gone. Some of them are still alive. You know, and I've seen some of the ones that are still alive and they're not beautiful no more. You know, they're 40 years old and they look like they're, you know, 60, 70 years old. Along the way, they got into relationships with men that, you know, once again, due to the lifestyle and the environment of individuals that you're dealing with, the type of people you're dealing with in that lifestyle, you know, they got in relationships with men that were abusive to them for whatever reason, maybe knock some teeth out.
In other words, it just gets worse and worse and worse as it goes. It doesn't get better.
You're not going to get nothing good out of it.
So it's like our movie, like you kind of know what our movie's all about. You don't know fully because things have changed a little bit, but you're in it now. You're going to be studying it this week. What do you kind of hope the kids get out of our movie after they see it? Is there anything that you're kind of hoping for? Would you mentor? Would you go out on a speaking tour? Would you talk with children? What do you kind of hope happens when this movie goes out? Because I have a fantasy in my head what I kind of hope for.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel blessed to just even be partaking in it with you the way that I am. I don't have any hopes or goals with it. I'm going to be truthful with you. I don't have any hopes or goals with it. Like, I'm not aiming for nothing other than what we're doing. But what I'm saying with that is along the way, you asked me, like, would I speak to children? Yes, I would speak to children. I've never done anything like that, but I would only do it in the hopes of, even if I don't know, like, I would never know when we part ways. There could be a child that maybe hears the conversation that we have, or like if we're doing, I don't know, whatever it is you got in your thoughts. But if maybe somebody that is going through something or at a certain point in life, maybe my words resonated with them somehow, like it was similar to whatever they're going through or experiencing, and it caused them to
because we all know kids at that age are hard-headed. They think
you don't know
it all figured out. But don't you think that that's why our movie is so important? Because we understand, kid, that you think you got it all figured out, and we're okay with that. But if you got it all figured out, when you get to where you're going, you won't have it figured out. Is that a fair statement?
It is, because, well, once again, life doesn't end for one person the way that it does for another. I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to give my experience of where I'm at in life right now. Is that all right?
Sure.
This is the reality of my situation right now. I just got out of, the county jail. But I got out of addiction right now today. Alcohol, partying, being incarcerated. Right now today, I am legitimately without a job. I lost all my vehicles. I wrecked a motorcycle. I'm beat up in so many different ways, from the motorcycle crash, from fights. So I've wrecked the motorcycle, lost my home, lost everything. I'll just say it for what it is. I'm homeless right now today. And I'm going to be going to treatment. And, that's why when I was listening to your thing with your interview with Amber Marie, yeah, I don't remember everything what she said, but there were so many things, the way that she spoke it, I could relate to it, and the way she just gave thanks to God, like, I just thought that was so awesome. And that's where I find myself today, Scott.
I know it's weird. I did 30 shows, and that's the one you picked.
Well, so there's a few of them there, but it's not even just the one that I picked. It's like the way I could hear, like I could sense.
That was the most religious one that I had.
The way she spoke it, though, like you can tell that she's sincere.
No, yeah, I'm managing an artist. His name is Michael Gillis. He's a Billboard artist, and Michael hired Amber Marie because of how genuine she is.
Yes,
there's something about her that is different. There's she focuses her life around the Lord, and it was very refreshing to have her come on and not feel like she couldn't speak about that she shouldn't speak about that. She was just her. And when I got done with the interview, I knew that there was a place with Michael, because Michael Gillis is the same way. He's very smart. He's very understanding. He gets it. And I knew that I'm very good at connecting the dots with people. I'm very good at that. If there's one thing I could brag about, I'm a very good roller skater, and I'm very good at connecting the dots. I could brag on those two things. But I knew that Amber would be a perfect fit for Michael. So Michael actually hired Amber. And I just find it ironic, like I said, that if there was any interview that you should have listened to when you got out, it should have been the Amber Marie interview. And I'm glad that's the one that God pulled out and said, here, Will, listen to this one. Because you could have picked some 30 of them.
And it wasn't just what she was saying it was how she was saying it, because I could sense the sincerity in her words.
Yeah.
With what she was saying. It was the fact that I just knew she was being sincere in her faith to the Lord. Yeah. And I really, really love that.
No, and the thing about it is, like, when we were going to hire her, she's like, I just can't believe this is happening. And I was like, well, the only thing I could tell you is time will tell you that we're real and that you deserve this. And thank you for working with us. And she's been with us now for 2 months, and it's been great. She's
yeah, that's awesome.
She's got her crap together, and she knows what she wants, and she's an artist, and she believes in her family, and she believes in the Lord, and she believes in her craft, and she's educated, and those are the type of things that matter, and it worked out that way.
Well, you see, and I'm glad that
let's get back to this movie. I want to ask you one more thing. So we're gonna get this thing done one of these days, right?
Yes.
And we're gonna get it out there. And I already know you, and you already know me. Folks, we're not looking for fame. We're not looking for a bunch of money. All that will come if it's supposed to. We're looking to try to help and talk to children on a way that they've never been talked to or shown before. And we believe that the right team is going to come in our way, and Will and I will be graciously wanting to speak with those people. We're not looking to change the world. We're trying to make the world a little bit better. Like I said at the beginning of this interview, the politicians will get on TV and argue. The people will blame the gun. The people will blame the people. The people will blame the lifestyle. The people will blame everything. But at the end of the day, still, innocent children are losing their lives for absolutely no reason. When Will and I were in school, we didn't go to school and learn how to hide from a shooter. We learned to hide from a tornado that might come in, maybe a hurricane that came in. And the worst thing that would happen is maybe a couple guys would go out in the back alley and fight with each other, right, Will?
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Now today, kids have to worry about possibly losing their life. And if there's any kid out there that's listening to Will and I tonight, thank you, number one, for sticking with us through this whole interview. But please realize what Will taught you tonight and what we're going to teach you in our movie is prison is no place you want to go. Right, Will?
In my opinion, no, it's really not.
And if
it's
you
not
think
it's
that
not
you're
a
going to
life.
be a tough guy in there, or you think that you got it figured out, or you're going to handle it, that is just not the case. Right, Will?
No, I don't believe so.
No, it's going to take years of you being in the prison before you even get a glimpse of what your life is really going to be like, just the adjustment period alone. We hope that nobody does any kind of school shootings again. And we hope that when our movie comes out, you take it to heart. And we also are grateful that you will sit down and watch it. And Will, I got to tell you, thank you so much for letting me interview you tonight. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great, right?
Yes, it has been. And thank you for being a friend.
Dropped me off in Nashville, and my co-writer, Will, is with me on the line. Again, 4 or 5 years. We've never seen eyeball to eyeball. We've seen each other on the computer once in a while, but we talk on the phone a lot, sometimes for hours on end. And Will, thank you for all your guidance on this movie. I couldn't do it without you. I appreciate it so much.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
I'll talk to you soon, okay? Thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
listening, y'all. Talk to you next week.
That's a wrap, y'all. You can hear every episode of Drop Me Off in Nashville on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Audible, basically anywhere that'll take us. We appreciate you. Now go tell a friend like you're spreading good gossip at a honky tonk.